So just as an introduction, my name is James Ski. I'm the CEO and founder of Sales Confidence. We're building the world's most valuable B2B sales community, and we're helping your sales teams and your sales leaders at each stage of your career with your mindset, well-being, and performance. To my right, we've got Elaine Tyler, the CEO and founder of Venatrix, the leading SaaS sales partner to help you hire, recruit, and upskill sales talent for your fast growth businesses. Round of applause, there we go. That's the atmosphere, guys. Good. We're warming up, thank you. Don't be shy on the sidelines, start walking in. And then the lovely gentleman on the end, that is Mark Ackers. He is the co-founder of My Sales Coach, a leading coaching as a service provider. I know I've done a brief intro, but can you just say a few words and maybe why you're excited about being at the Sales Innovation Expo today? And then we're going to kick off.
Of course. So as James said, I founded Venatrix, which is London's leading partner for organizations who want to hire talented SDRs into their sales teams. I founded the company off my passion for new business, lead generation, pipeline generation. So obviously that's why I'm excited to be here today.
Fantastic. Mark?
Yeah, happy to be here today. I feel like this is the one event that I see the most people that I recognise from LinkedIn. So looking forward to seeing a lot of people. In terms of My Sales Coach, I'll avoid the word leading. I feel we've said that a lot already. In terms of the reason we set up the business, the problem we solve really is that sales professionals very rarely get the coaching that they need to hit the goals that the company has set of them. We have a bank of expert coaches. We match individuals to the perfect coach to help them not only hit the goals that you're asking them to hit, but to fulfill their potential. That's what we do.
Fantastic. So the purpose of the conversation this morning is to reflect on what a difficult year it has been for sales leaders and salespeople in 2023. So what we want to extract is a perspective from our experts on, some of the takeaways, and we will invite some questions from the audience as well if we've got time. Don't be shy, there's seats here. There's a VIP one. There's free coffee there. Yeah, that one's free. And then we will go into thinking about 2024 and what our predictions are for 2024.
She's actually gone to pay for coffee.
I know, but there you go. Okay, cool. So let's start with Mark. Really, you're having conversations every single day with sales leaders. What's been top of mind this year?
Yeah, so I'm a bit of a notes guy, but in terms of when I thought about what have I noticed by speaking to sales leaders every day for 10 years, but particularly this year, replanning is something that I constantly hear. Sales leaders have had to replan at least 2 times, sometimes 3 or 4 times, because they've had a difficult year. They feel like selling has never been harder, and they've seen a lot over the last 20 years. So replanning's happened a lot. SDRs struggling. We conducted a survey recently. 1,069 SDRs took part, and it was really grim in terms of what we found. So SDRs are finding the role really hard. They're struggling to retain staff. 50% of SDRs believe they're going to leave their employer in the next 12 months as well. And then lack of time. Sales leaders are asked to do more now than ever before with less resource. They're struggling, and they're turning to customer success. So quite a bit there, yeah.
Good points. Elaine?
So from a careers perspective, 2023 has obviously been a really tough year. Sales leaders haven't known when they could hire, who they could hire. We've obviously seen layoffs across the industry. People have been sat considering their career options, thinking, how can I move forward? How can I make more money personally and for my organization? And that's been really, really hard. And I think a lot of the feedback that I've heard from salespeople is in fact that their biggest competitor this year in the sales process has actually been inertia, where the people that they've been trying to sell to have actually chosen to do nothing, which is obviously a really difficult competitor to try and beat.
Yeah, I think that's continuous feedback, isn't it, for everybody, that everybody's pushing the can down the road and they don't want to hear about your new shiny solution because they've already got something in place. So how do you combat the status quo and actually educate people on the power and benefits of your solution? I believe is critical. I would say, in the community that we've built over the last 5 years, I've never seen so many sales leaders on the bench. There are so many leaders that are looking for their next gig right now, meaning it's extremely competitive out there. And I think as individuals, whatever stage of career that you're at, we've got a responsibility to kind of own our career and own our brand. And the reality is you're not going to walk easily into your next role right now if that's something you're considering. You have to work extra hard to stand out and be seen as an expert in your field. So some good points there. Just picking up on customer success, Mark, the challenge around sales leaning into customer success. I often think of customer success as a younger salesperson as the ugly sister. So how is that improved, and how is customer success working more effectively with sales these days?
Yeah, so there's definitely the mindset in a lot of businesses now that customer success is actually company-wide, and what we're seeing is, there's lots of studies out there that show that it's easier to retain customers and to grow customers than it is to win customers. But customer success is a funny department in the sense of it is relatively new. We've had account management and whatnot obviously for decades, but customer success as a concept is still relatively new. And therefore, the people in customer success often come from different backgrounds. So you can have technical people in there, you can have former salespeople in there, people from marketing, people from product, whatever. But when you get lots of different people in a team, there comes lots of different skills, knowledge, confidence and competence gaps. And now, because sales are struggling, they're turning to CS and they're saying, can we first of all make sure we retain our accounts? Because businesses are scrutinizing more where they spend their money, they're consolidating tech stack, etc. So customer success are first of all struggling to retain customers. They're then being asked, not only can you retain them, can you get multi-year deals? Can you grow the accounts as well and upsell and cross-sell, etc.? So they're being charged with a lot, but in CS, that's where they're struggling because they don't often have the sales acumen. They've got lots of product knowledge and use case knowledge, and they're really good at building relationships, but when it comes to having that sales, that killer instinct, that ability to ask the tough questions, they're struggling, and that's where the business is turning to the sales team to try and get them to help, because it is about growing and retaining those current accounts.
Fascinating points. Just to raise a hand, this year, how many of you have had to befriend the CFO more than ever? All right, a few hands. So we were discussing this beforehand. It feels like the CFO is getting involved in every deal right now to get sign off. Elaine, what's your experience of that?
Yeah, for definite. I mean, I think salespeople, sales leaders have been on quite a journey over the past few years. Obviously, in that post-COVID period, there was that time where it felt like people were really up for spending, up for buying. Chains of decision-making felt relatively short, especially compared to now. Then obviously the economy changed, and what worked yesterday no longer worked in the current environment. So I think that the real challenge now is making sure that you're reaching out to the most relevant prospects with a message that's really going to land, digging for pain, evaluating the pain hand in hand with the customer, so to the point where it gets to the CFO, there's a clear return on investment business case that means it's going to be easier overall for the business to sign off.
Great points. We also raised the points around SDRs, and we all have experience in nurturing, coaching, hiring, developing SDRs. You surveyed over 1,000, Mark. What were some of those key learnings about the challenges that SDRs are facing right now?
Yeah, so as James said, we surveyed 1,069 SDRs took part in this anonymous survey, and we found a lot. I'm doing a talk about that tomorrow at 1:15. Sales intelligence and leadership theatre. Might be too much intelligence for me, but I'll be going through the report if you want to come to that. We found a lot, so we asked them all sorts of questions, and it was a good mix of people that were new to the role, people that have been in the role for a year, people that have been slightly longer. What we found is a lot of them are unfulfilled in the role. They struggle with that role. They've got lots of challenges, so we asked them to rank their challenges. And some of the things that surprised me was burnout was in their top 3 challenges consistently. Won't surprise you, obviously, anxiety over targets are in there. But then it was things like a lot of the mental aspects of being an SDR, so imposter syndrome, cold calling anxiety was also impacting them. What was positive was that most people, 90%, believed sales was a career for them. They were going to be in sales in 5 years' time. But what was disappointing is 50% didn't think it'd be with their current employer. And we looked into why that was, and there was a huge link between an employer investing in the individual coaching, developing them, helping them to fulfill their potential, to fulfillment, quota attainment, and staying with the company. Lots of stats that I'm going to run through tomorrow at 1:15 that I simply can't remember off the top of my head.
Good man. Elaine?
Top tips for making sure that your SDRs are going to be successful. And pipeline, as we know, is everything. Whatever you put in at the top is eventually going to come out the bottom in terms of the quality of the deals and clients you're going to be able to sign. So first of all, give SDRs and people generating pipeline context, who is your client and why do they buy? Because basically, if it's just a list of names in a CRM system and you're asking somebody to call through those people and try and discuss those challenges, that can feel quite abstract to a person who's typically in the early stages of their career. And then I think really important for SDRs as well is to encourage them to control the controllables. The market's tough. It's going to continue to be tough. Fingers crossed it's going to be changing into 2024. But ultimately, it's about digging down on those numbers, thinking about your messaging and controlling what it is that you can control to be successful, and hopefully that feeling of success helps counteract those feelings of burnout, etc.
Very relevant points. We've got a great Movember there. Well done on the mustache. Free tea and coffee down there if you'd like to join us. So the crowds are building. There's some seats here. Don't be shy. Okay, cool. So in a moment, we're going to start thinking about 2024 because obviously we want one eye on the future. But a big debate that continues to happen is remote working versus hybrid versus being in the office. Again, raise a hand, don't be shy. Who's a remote worker? Digital nomad, okay. Who's hybrid, mix of both? And who's 5 days a week in the office, chained to the desk? Well done, we still like that and respect that. So what's the opinions? I'm going to share mine. I personally think the mix, blend and flexibility is the most important factor. And that you give people the flexibility to have an experience and change and be able to do things in their own time. But I do believe for sales teams particularly that having an office culture is critical. But I would love to debate that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I've got quite a few thoughts on this. So I worked for home for 3 years during the pandemic and the office never really covered. Then I co-founded my sales coach. I spent the last year predominantly in the office 4 days a week, sometimes 5. I think overall, it depends what you want. If you want top talent and you want to grow and scale the business, you have to embrace it. The genie's out of the bottle, it's not going back in. And I think it's a little bit dinosaur to say to someone, I trust you, I'm going to employ you, but this is your desk, this is where you must sit 9 to 5, 5 days a week. That's just not going to work. But on the other side of that, particularly starting a business over the last 12 months, so much value has come from just being in the office, having those conversations, learning through osmosis, hearing someone just have a conversation and chiming in and then breaking that down and pulling it apart. So I think particularly if you are starting a new job, working remote will be really tough. You can do it, of course you can, but I think it will slow down your success and results. You should make that effort to go into the office. And I might sound old-fashioned here. I predict that the people that spend more time going to the office are the people that are going to go further in their careers. They're going to get promoted quicker, they're going to get FaceTime, they're going to learn more, etc. But a blend.
Oh, big statement there. It's on video. You're going to go further in your career if you're in the office. Elaine, what do you think?
I agree.
Oh, we agree. We're a panel that agrees.
Obviously my speciality is working with people who are in the early stages of their career and joining as an SDR. And I think that the challenge is for businesses, if they've got eager SDRs who are trying to learn about the company, if the people they're trying to learn from are not there, that obviously creates a problem. I do think that there are some people who can work exceptionally remotely, but I think they're typically those individuals who are absolute stars in their careers, super duper talented. And I think that realistically, those people should be in the office in a hybrid scenario, so that the people who are on the uptick of their career are getting the opportunity to learn from those people as well. And I think you see those moments where that across the desk, oh, so and so from this company, and something's mentioned, and then I have seen things like that turn into a deal so many times. So I can't turn my back on that. It doesn't happen on Zoom.
Completely agree. I do think you're going to experience an accelerated learning curve if you are surrounding yourself. Mate, the coffee's free over there. Good man! Round of applause for this guy.
He's had a tough 2023.
He's had a tough 23. Before we go into 2024,
He's probably the CFO.
who's got a question? Who's got the first question? Don't be shy. We're all a bit shy. Who's going to ask a question? Ben, come on. Who's got a question? Help me out here, team. Kat, have you got a question? All right, we'll come back to questions, mull it over, because we're going to start thinking about 2024 that we hope is going to be more exciting, more fun, and more productive. So, Mark, what's your thoughts and predictions for 2024?
Email's in a bit of trouble, isn't it? I don't know, I'm assuming everyone's seen look, I won't know how to talk to it technically, but basically Google, Yahoo, whatnot, they've said that any company that sends more than 5,000 emails a day will be classed as a bulk sender. They're going to end in spam, all that stuff. Personally, I think that's fantastic. I've used email, I've used sequences and whatnot. I remember the first time I saw it like 10 years ago and couldn't believe it. But companies have destroyed email. My inbox was brand new 1st of January this year, like brand new. I wasn't in any databases, it didn't exist, and it was a two-man company. And like this year, I get on average, I worked this out for a podcast, like 55 plus emails a day. I never used to unsubscribe from stuff. I'm now actively, as soon as an email comes in, I'm blocking that person because I cannot be asked with the follow-up chain asking me if I've been captured by a wizard and where am I and all this. So email's in a lot of trouble. Thank God for that, because it is an important communication tool that has been destroyed. So that's the first thing. And I think sales reps therefore are going to have to actually pick up the phone, which ironically, SDRs, 65% of them said they had cold calling anxieties, so they need a lot of help with that. But I think you're going to see other platforms on the rise, so video is going to be used more, but through LinkedIn, you're going to get more voice notes, etc. So I think that's going to be a really big thing in terms of how companies reach out to you. I think AI is going to play a role in that as well. Everyone talks about AI as a bit of a buzzword. I personally not had much enjoyment with it, but yeah, lots of thoughts, but outreach is going to have to change.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Elaine?
So hopeful for fairer weather conditions, and certainly from the perspective of being on the sharp end of when people hire and when people don't. People are looking to hire. We've had more organisations reach out to us in November and December than we normally would, which is obviously a really good sign for not just us, but everybody in this room. I think for the people who've taken the time this year to understand this was not a year where you were going to maybe make leaps and bounds in your career and close your biggest deals, but instead have thought, right, I'm going to invest in myself, I'm going to come along to the sales confidence events, learn from my peers, I'm going to invest in coaching, self-development, and having had the realization that sales is really tough, and this has been a year to test your skill set, those people are going to come bouncing out the blocks next year because they're going to be so sharp, well rested after a little break at Christmas. Hopefully everybody's mind moves forward into 2024. Buyers are a little bit more receptive and salespeople are sharp.
Fantastic thoughts. I kind of add to that. I think fundamentally your success is your own responsibility, right? It's down to you on how successful you are going to be in 2024. And wherever you're at in this moment, whatever resistance you have in your mind, 2024 can be the best year that you've ever had. So how are you taking responsibility? How are you upskilling yourself? How are you putting yourself in the right circles? We're all here because this is the VIP area, right? This is the place to be to learn from some experts. How are you connecting with the experts? Connecting with people on LinkedIn, building your circles so that you are in the circles of people that are taking you to the next level. At the end of the day, some of you might need to think about different companies. Maybe your company's holding you back. Maybe it hasn't got product market fit. Maybe you need to step into a new product with product market fit in a market that's going to blow up in 2024. So these are considerations that you have to take. The other thing around AI, I think it's all our responsibility to figure out the application for us in productivity. I don't think it's going to replace salespeople. I don't think it's going to replace SDRs. People are still going to be required to pick up the phone. And hopefully, as humanity, we still care about human connection, right? That's why we're here. So despite all the AI technology, hopefully we still come together and we connect. Because that, in my opinion, is what it's all about. Mark, what else would you add around thoughts for 2024?
So customer success, again, I think that department's going to become even more important next year. I think you're going to see a lot of investment in customer success, a lot more software to help develop their skills and their ability to do more. I think AI is going to be used in the sense of what it will do is get rid of a lot of the manual, time-consuming tasks, so you can spend more time with your customers. What else did I have written down? This is
Elaine.
Yeah, I mean, certainly on the AI point, I think that that will just be a new bullet point on the candidate sort list. So do they have strong communication skills? Are they resilient? Can they work towards targets? And do they have a good grasp of AI and how they can use that to give themselves more time back in the day?
Fantastic. Any questions from the audience? You've had a moment? Who's going to ask a question? Here we go. Introduce yourself and ask your question.
I'm Laura, I'm an account executive at Venatrix, and my question is, if you were early in your sales career, what would you be doing over December to get yourself started for a killer 2024?
Great question.
So what's that cheesy phrase? It's like winter miles equals Q1 smiles, something like that. The reality is, like, now will be a time where you can always tell yourself it's a bad time to prospect. You know, oh, it's a Monday morning, no one's going to answer. Oh, it's a Friday afternoon. Oh, it's Christmas. But the reality is, people do pick up the phone. People do respond to good outreach. So put the effort in now. Set up those calls for early January, and obviously the key thing is to make sure they're going to show up. So it's kind of like making sure you reach back out to them. But you just got to put the, like, look, it's the same any time of year. You could argue the same in the summer months. You know, people go on holiday, etc. It's about being consistent. Like anything in life, if you want results, it's consistency. December is no different. It's a shorter month, but put the effort in to set yourself up for Q1.
I would definitely be taking some time for some reflection. So taking a look at the whole of this year, thinking about what were my biggest lessons and how could I apply them. I'd open up a blank notebook and I would put at the top of the page, how can I make more sales? And I would start to, just kind of muse that question and give myself some space to really think about what ideas would come to me. So then starting in the first instance is what it is you've got. So what relationships have you got? Who are their affiliate partners? Where can you dig down deeper? If any of your contacts moved, how could you engage those people in Q1? Okay, moving out from there, what's the similarities between the clients that you've worked with before? And then where can you start to prospect from there? And just start again with like a strategic prospecting map of thinking about how you can make your moves in Q1 to be successful and kick your year off spectacularly.
Great advice. Like, start now. Don't wait till Jan 1st, right? Do not wait till Jan 1st, even with your health goals, right? Whatever personal goals you've got, like, don't wait till Jan 1st. Otherwise, you're just going to have another year like you just had this year. I think we've got 5 or 6 weeks to go. Let's use the time now. Start planning out exactly how you want to be effective for 2024. There's free coffee over here, by the way, just as an FYI. Next question. Who's got another question to ask? Well, the hands are going up very quick. Oh, here we go.
So you mentioned.
Yeah, it is working.
So you mentioned I'm not working. I don't think you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh, boy.
So you mentioned that is hard working. So what are you suggesting is the future of outreach for new leads, not existing customers?
Yeah. So just not be really clear. I'm not saying email's not working. I'm saying most people don't use it effectively. The real change is the 5,000 cap. That may seem like a lot of emails that you can send in a day, but if you've got just 10 employees, that's 500 each. But all of a sudden, hang on, this includes support emails, invoicing emails, out of office assistance. Like 5,000 emails is not many emails that you can send a day as a company, and you are going to get blocked by Google and Yahoo. This is a huge shake-up that's coming in Q1. So email is going to have to be more considered. Right now, as a sales professional, you can look like you've had an amazing day by enrolling 50 people on 10 sequence email and sit there and go, well, I've done my job. That's just not going to work. Everyone here gets shit emails, don't they, where there's no personalization whatsoever, or even if they think they're personalized and they're not, when they go, hi Mark, I noticed you work at my sales coach. Like, they think that's personalization and it's just not. So people are going to, the thing is, this will create opportunity because we will get less emails. So if you send good emails, that will get opens and responses because email inboxes will not be as cluttered. But prediction is that you're going to see more social selling, like people are going to continue to try and work their way through social selling. So, my SDRs at my sales coach are booking meetings through bloody TikTok, right? They literally are making content with TikTok. Sales leaders are engaging with them. You've also got LinkedIn's going to become a bigger channel because there won't be the limits on that, but I think you'll get diversity in terms of messages, video, voice notes as well. And then pick up the phone. Like, people who say cold calling's dead are just the same people that are shit at cold calling. So it's going to be getting good at cold calling, and that's something that most people struggle with, and it's a mental thing.
And then from me, I would say, like, be more human with your prospecting. So I think that your 1-to-many ratio can be, as Mark says, social selling. So think of 3 webinars that you could run for half an hour on LinkedIn, one in January, one in February, one in March. Invite people who could be your potential ICP, what you would have written in an email to make it relevant. Have a guest on a webinar and do something that kind of shows your personality. And then I also think evaluating where your actual deals and leads have come from last year. And probably one of my favorite ways to develop business is definitely through referrals. So speaking to the clients you've engaged with, digging down into their networks. Mark gave me 2 referrals last week, so it definitely works.
Yeah, great advice. I mean, look, some things never change. Like the power of referrals and an introduction and word of mouth has become more significant. I think how you're perceived in your niche or your industry as an expert or as a thought leader. And you can start small. Like, you don't need your marketing team to put on a big event or attend a big trade show. As Elaine said, just put together an online webinar. It costs you nothing. Or invite a few prospects in to lunch. Nurture some early relationships, and then you can start fostering referrals. The other thing is, like, without a doubt, you know, LinkedIn, it just continues to be extremely powerful as a platform. But you've got to stand out because it is more noisy than it's ever been. I was at LinkedIn 5 years ago. I worked at LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Before LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn. After LinkedIn, I still love LinkedIn, as you can tell. But the point is that you have to decide how you make it work for you. Because it's a powerful platform, but you've got to navigate it so you can make it successful for you. Next question. Michael, I'm looking at you. You've got a question. Come on. Oh, here we go. Oh, lady here.
So about 24 hours ago, I got a cold outreach email from somebody called James Ski, and I replied, how long should I wait for a response?
Oops. Great question.
I'm just normally texting.
I would say 24 hours. But I'm glad you're here. I like that. Next question.
Even from the beginning, you seem to confirm that there has been like all those mass layoffs. Also, the economy is going to do the recession, so it's not harder to sell. I was wondering, like, if you want to start in sales now, you have to compete with people who basically have over 3 years of experience already. So, what would be like the advice to just get started?
You can be better than them because, like, if people have sold in different climates, they don't necessarily have the skills for now. And I think that one of the things that I love about sales in general, the reason why I went into it, the reason I'm so passionate about SDRs, placing SDRs with companies, working in partnership with James, is that sales is such a leveler. You don't need to have a specific skill set. You don't need to have a specific background. What you do need to be able to do is be curious, question people about their now, what current situation are they in, what are they trying to achieve, and help that customer cross that chasm. And so you don't need 20 years of experience to be able to do that. You just need the right mindset, the right questions, the right attitude, and, like I say, to step into it with genuine intentions and how you might help people.
I'll just add to that. It's not their fault, but most salespeople are crap. It's not their fault, right? So don't be intimidated by someone that's been in sales for 5 years because they've just had the same year 5 times. Don't worry about it.
All right, we're up on time. We want to be respectful of that. Please do come and ask us questions. Thank you for being part of this experience. This is a new experience. It's going to be an annual event. Now, a couple of plugs. At 5 p.m. tonight, if you're still around, at the Fox at the entrance of Excel, we're going to be hosting drinks and food, our partnership, and everybody's going to be there in the community hanging out. And then also, I'm going to be on the keynote stage at 4:45, I believe. Mark, when are you speaking?
Tomorrow at 1:15.
Cool. All right, so come and connect with us. Thanks for being here. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.